Hi guys, welcome to episode 8 of Simple Sips. Hope you've been enjoying the video series so far. We have a special episode this week. I know I've been saying that every week, but this one's a little special, as in we have the owners of the vineyard again with us, Dennis and Suzanne Groth from Groth Vineyards. Probably one of my all-time favorites out of Napa Valley. We've been featuring 4 wines from them: Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Cab, and Cab Reserve. Currently all available in the store right now, all on special as well for the holidays. So if you're looking for something nice to enjoy or a special gift for someone, these are certainly going to be the wines to try or take home. So sit back and enjoy this video. Thank you.
Welcome to Groth Vineyards and Winery. We are sitting here in Oakville in the middle of Napa Valley. My name is Suzanne Groth. I'm the CEO and president of Groth Vineyards and Winery. I'm the second person to hold this job position, and it's always been family. So I'm preceded by my dad, Dennis Groth, in this position as president. And, you know, Judy Groth, my mom, she was a founding partner with my dad back in 1982. This property that we're sitting on was purchased in 1981.
When we first saw Oakville, we had spent the prior day in Sonoma County, and I woke up Saturday morning and read my Wall Street Journal, which was it was the Friday Wall Street Journal, and I always like to look at it, and I saw an ad for vineyards in Oakville, California, Napa Valley. So I called up the phone number, spoke to a gentleman by the name of Ren Harris, who was partners with Jeannie Phillips. They were realtors, now winery owners here in Napa Valley. And I told him what we were doing, and he said, "Why are you in Sonoma? You should be here in Napa, where the best vineyard land exists in the world, certainly in California." And I said, well, I had thought perhaps we couldn't afford the expensive vineyards in Napa Valley, so we were looking at Sonoma first. And he said, well, you should come over here and look at the best, because the best is always worth paying for, because in the long haul, it's the best investment you can make, and you'll get the finest quality wine from our vineyards, and that's where you should be.
It is 121 total acres here in the middle of Napa Valley, and we do own another small property in Yountville area, just about 7 miles south of here, in the AVA, or the American Viticultural Area, called Oak Knoll. 2 properties, 1 family, 3 winemakers. We have just our 3rd winemaker today. You'll hear from Cameron Perry, our director of wine growing, in just a few minutes, and he'll talk you through all the wines. But I thought I would just give you a few facts about the family. We're not natives to Napa. We're natives really to Santa Clara Valley, which is about 2.5 hours south of here. My parents were both raised in Santa Clara, or as we call it today, Silicon Valley. So it was a big life departure for my little brother Andrew and I, my older sister Elizabeth, and myself with my parents arriving here in the 80s. And we started with a quest, with a dream in mind of making this wine, Cabernet Sauvignon. My parents were looking for a property they believed would yield beautiful Cabernet. It was not proven yet.
So this land here in Oakville had a lot of Cabernet in it. And I asked why that was. And the real estate people, Ren Harris and Jean Phillips, explained to me that, well, Justin Meyer, who lives right next door, planted all of this vineyard land, and he loves Cabernet, and he thinks Cabernet should be the only thing you should ever bother to plant or grow or make wine out of.
Neighbors at that time were Villemont Eden. Today, that neighbor just to the east of us is Plump Jack. And of course, to the west of us, Robert Mondavi, the first really historic post-Prohibition winery to be founded in Napa Valley in 1962. My parents had tasted those wines as a young couple in their 20s, discovering wine together. And that eventually led them back to this place when they were ready to really put their stamp on it and get involved in the wine business. So that started with a dream, making Cabernet. Of course, we make a few other things today. And I'd love to just say that I think we'll just continue along this trend. Cameron, myself, the team, we're all really laser focused on what else can we discover about our property. So as the years come out over the next, as we get into 2021, 2022, you'll start to see some new wines from Groth, especially a new wine we call Oak Cross. This is a proprietary red made up of Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Petit Verdot. We've just planted our first parts of acreage to Petit Verdot here in our estate, and we'll start to discover what we can yield out of these experiments. It's interesting being here almost 40 years and never having tried another red varietal since my parents arrived, starting off with Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Merlot. This is a time for us to explore a little bit more about our estate. So stay tuned for things in the future, but in the meantime, enjoy the wines as Cameron will walk you through them today.
Hi, I'm Cameron Perry. I'm the Director of Wine Growing here at Groth Vineyards and Winery. We're located right in the heart of the Napa Valley in Oakville, California. My role as Director of Wine Growing has me overseeing all aspects of wine production, from the growing of the grapes out in the vineyard all the way through the winemaking process and out the bottle to you. Today we're going to be tasting through our lineup of 4 wines. Our 2019 Sauvignon Blanc is grown primarily right here in Oakville, California, on our estate property and right next door from one of our partner growers. Being here in Oakville, it has a richness to the fruit that we really don't see in other places. You should expect to see bright tropical tones, a nice stone fruit element, very lively and fresh acidity, wonderful wine in all seasons. I hope you enjoy it. Here we have our 2018 Chardonnay. This is a single vineyard bottling, which means that all the fruit in this wine has to come from the one named vineyard on the label, and that is our Hillview Estate Vineyard, located in the Oak Knoll district of Napa Valley. Just south of Yountville and north of the town of Napa, this is an ideal location for growing this style of Chardonnay. By this style, what I mean is that this is a non-malolactic Chardonnay, so you shouldn't expect any of that big buttery character. Instead, look for that bright, crisp acidity, nuanced stone fruit, and just a little hint of fresh pear on there. A lovely wine, very, very food versatile. I hope you enjoy it. Here we have our 2016 Oakville Cabernet Sauvignon. Like it sounds, this is an Oakville bottling, meaning that all the fruit in this comes from right here in the Oakville AVA. Everything's within about 2 miles of the winery. Coming from different sources, we have lots of different nuance in this wine, different aspects, different elements that all add complexity. Look for a nice blend of red fruit and black fruit, a pleasant acidity, and a really nice, rich tannin structure that's velvety but not astringent. I hope you enjoy it. Here we have our flagship wine. This is our 2016 Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. Here at Groth, when we use that word reserve, we're referring to 2 specific parts of our estate vineyard here in Oakville, California. And that's the only place that the Cabernet in this wine can come from. That's owing to different soil type underneath that block that is really unique to all of Oakville. This special character is something that's found nowhere else in the Napa Valley. We like to show that off to all of you. In recognition of the uniqueness of this wine, the Wine Spectator in 2019 ranked this as number 4 on their top 100 list. So this Reserve Cabernet Sauvignon has a much bigger structure than what we see in our Oakville bottling, owing to that really unique soil characteristic that we have in the vineyard. It's got a depth to it that we really don't see anywhere else. Loads of ripe black fruit with a little hint of savory underneath, a nice touch of red fruit as well. Look for that big tannin structure, look for that nice lift from the new oak, but all underneath that there's still a really pleasant acidity that'll help this wine work so well with food, help it age beautifully, and keep it refreshing in the glass. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.